Oh, hey.
Hi there.
This is Cody.
And this is Charlie.
And this is X2Z, our culture reviews for wannadish.com. Today we'll be talking to you about a documentary we saw called Page One, inside the New York Times at the Bethesda Landmark Theater.
I thought it was a very well done documentary that jumped between fly on the wall shots in the New York Times building to New York Times building to interviews with influential journalists and people who are knowledgeable about writing.
The documentary was about the changing shape of media in today's culture with so much electronic media. The documentary is really very insightful about how information is changing and how media is changing. And it was particularly provocative for the two of us who are spending a lot of time trying to generate hits on our blogs, our individual blogs, and I'm working on trying to get a book contract, and Cody is making we have a YouTube channel and all of those things, and worried about our clout scores, how influential we are in the world of social media.
And it really kind of showed us that that's what new media is about. It's about getting hits and about what's popular and about bringing attention to your page. And that way, that's how you sell advertisements. It's no longer about actual news where everyone has to go to a newspaper, and that's how the newspapers generate money.
Correct. I mean, journalism as we knew it, as I knew it, is becoming sort of a thing in the past. It's very specialized. People don't want to read more than 300 words. So Gawker, which is a huge news source online, their writers are constantly in an office all day long with a board that shows the top 10 stories, who's getting the most hits, and that's what they want to do. They want to be on that top 10 board. They're not about in-depth reporting and 5,000 words and stories that are important but maybe not catchy. So we wondered, who's going to take that over? What is the future of in-depth reporting?
I wanted to see other people's opinions of Page One inside the New York Times. So I went to a website that I checked, and there are over 100 reviews of this movie on this website, from good to bad, and people, I think that's what technology allows us to do.
So we're giving this Page One inside the New York Times
Out of 5.
Out of 5. Well, I'm giving it like a 3. I mean, the camera work was really static. This was a whole documentary, and it was kind of not interesting visually.
They dismissed basic rules and viewpoints in interviews. I also felt like it jumped a lot and didn't finish storylines that I would be interested in here during these interviews. I also felt like it had no real conclusion. Like the movie really tried to be unbiased, like the New York Times. Like it really, while pushing if the New York Times ends, it's ridiculous. I feel like pick a side, do your movie, let me watch it, end with this is what's going to happen.
I mean, it felt like there was an agenda, but they were not speaking, and it didn't have the kind of in-depth reporting within the documentary that you're used to in the New York Times. So we learned some background about some of the people, but there was a lot more that you left wishing that you knew more about them.
Yeah, we didn't really learn anything about the New York Times. We just kind of opinions were given to us about what would happen if the New York Times failed.
Right, and I actually went in thinking, I'm going to learn how a newspaper works nowadays. I'm going to learn how print journalism operates, and you really didn't learn anything about that. It was really more about the WikiLeaks versus blah, 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 blah sort of thing. It was very interesting. I mean, it was interesting, and I did enjoy it. I'm glad I went. The world is changing, and that's what was good about this documentary. It really, without coming out and slapping you in the face with it or hitting you over the head with it, instead, the world is changing. What are you going to do about it? How do you feel about it?